Hi, thanks for pulling up this video. I am going to be walking through how we extend or enlarge a pattern or add length to a sleeve here in Inkscape. If I'm moving through the tools and don't cover some of the layers or like some of the more detailed information you're looking for, please check out my other videos. I have a walkthrough on just kind of the basic tools you use in Inkscape, as well as kind of other tutorials where I go more in depth about layering and how they function. So this, we're just going to focus on how we get this pattern piece cut and extend it. First thing is when you bring a pattern into Inkscape, it could vary based on the original person who set up the pattern. It could come on a lot of different parts. If that's the case, there's other workarounds you're going to have to do. I find it easier if I can't get the item selected that I want to select, then I will just retrace the pattern, and I'll show you how you can do that in another video. Check out pattern tracing, the video that I will upload hopefully after this one. So for this, we will assume that your pattern piece came in one solid piece, and you don't have it to worry about fixing anything or adjusting the pattern in any way. Sometimes you won't be able to cut it or do some of the steps we're going to talk through because an item is grouped and you need to ungroup it. Anytime you have a group item, you can always kind of look down here in this information down at the lower bottom bar here. It tells you about what you have selected, the information about the selected item. So path 7 nodes means there's 7 nodes on this path. So those little things that help control the shape of the drawing. I'll show you, I grouped this calibration box, and as you can see, when we select that down here, it tells you it's grouped of 2 objects, meaning there's 2 objects that are grouped together. So if we wanted to, we can go and ungroup that object, and now it's just saying you have 2 objects selected in the type of path. So that can help you identify possibly, and now we just have the text selected. So if you ever get stuck somewhere and you can't figure out why this isn't working for you, look at that information first and see if you can't do some detective work to see if maybe there's some grouped items and that's why it's not working out for you. So let's get into this. The first thing I like to do is I like to draw a guideline. And if your guidelines, after you draw them, you cannot get that little hand to show up, it's because your guides are locked. So you just need to unlock your guides. I don't remember where that's located in here. Otherwise, I'd show you real quick. Now that I have that line marked, I'm going to delete this line because it's in my way when I try to add nodes to it. So I want to get rid of that obstacle. So I'm going to zoom in. I typed Z on my keyboard for the hotkey there, and I'm just clicking my mouse to come in close. I'm going to then grab my node tool. So that's going to be the N hotkey, and I'm going to, I want to select this item and switch to node. And then I'm going to double click on the path. And as you can see, there's a little diamond that shows up. I'm going to add another one over here and use the guide to know where I want to put it so it's even. Double click again, and we've added 2 paths here. Now let's see if I can remember how to do all this. It's been a while. So then, still with your node tool and on your keypad to get that, and you know the difference because I've got a sharp pointing arrow. The selection tool is an arrow with a tail on it. So I want to go back to node, get those nodes to show up. I'm going to click and select that node, and then I'm holding down spacebar to move over. I'm going to hold down shift and select this node. That's going to select both nodes that I want. We're then going to come up here, and it is, where is it at? There is a break path at selected nodes. So we want to break this path. We're going to click on that. Then we're going to go to path and break apart. Now that should create a separate path to be able to select and move. So let me Zoom out here. And as you can see, I've got a box around this path and a box around this path. So we do have two separate paths now. There's two different things we can select. So I'm just going to select away. And as you can see, that is its own path or selection, and this is its own selection now. So once you have that done, and again, if anyone in Inkscape watches this, please allow us to drag our 0 point so we can set rulers off of it and know where there's a 1/2 inch, so we don't have to like create these little boxes to know how big we're going to make something. I'm going to change this to like a 1 point. It'd be really, really nice to be able to do what's called zeroing, resetting your 0 to that mark, and then we could say inch up, inch down, have 2 inches. But that's not for you guys, that's for the developers. Maybe I'll send them a note. I'm going to change to inches real quick. I'm going to type S on my keypad so I can select this box, so I can set the size I want. I want this, and it's in pixels, so I need to go to inch here. So I want to add an 1.5 inches, so 1.5. And then I'm going to, oops, not do that. Trying to grab this box just so I can make it bigger here. And then I'm going to set this box as close to center as possible. I'm going to nudge it down a little bit. To nudge it, I'm holding down Option and typing the arrow down. Now it looks like it's pretty much in the middle. You don't have to center this, you can, or you don't. It's just, I'm used to doing it this way with paper patterns. So anyway, now that box set and I know how far up and how far down I need to, or how much I need to open this up, I'm going to select this top portion of the pattern, and I'm just clicking my arrow up. There we go. And now I'm going to select the bottom portion, and I'm going to hold down Control and drag so it stays in the same spot. And now it's a matter of just connecting these points. So I'm going to go back to my node tool. So N, select this. I'm going to hold down Option as I drag it up so it holds a steady line. And then I'm going to zoom out, type Z, hold down Shift, click, and zoom out. When I do this, I like to see how this is going to affect any part of the pattern. So I'm going to go back to my node tool. I'm going to select this one and kind of bring it up to that line. I'm going to select this. I'm going to bring it down to this line. Don't really like how that came out more, so I'm going to come in a little bit on my taper. So that's it. Now I have a full piece put together. It's all there, ready to project it and cut it. It's should be that simple if the pattern comes in correctly. Like I said, if you've got a pattern that has several different lines, like it came in, and I can show you an example. So if it comes in something like this, which all of my patterns out of Pattern Master come in as separate lines, individual lines. So I'll show you. So see, all these lines are individual. So it's not one solid line. So when I go to try to cut it, it may not work the same. You can still do that cutting, and I can show you how you do that. But you can't have these grouped together in order to use the break apart function. They have to be ungrouped lines. So either one, you can watch the other video, I'll show you how to trace this pattern, what tools you'll use, or two, you can just cut the individual lines. So let me draw a guide. Let's say I want to split it here. Zoom in on this. I'm going to go to my node tool, or actually I'm going to go to my selection tool, select this, my node tool. I'm going to add a node here. Now I can't add it over here, it doesn't matter because it's its own separate line over here. So I can only do it this one at a time. So I'm going to select that. I'm going to break apart, break path, and then object, path, and then break apart, or a shift command K. So I should now have its own separate line, and if it worked, and it did, so these are now two separate lines. Now because this is its own item, I have to repeat that same step. So let me go down in here, go to node, double click add node, break path, path, break apart, and now we have two separate lines. Now this is what I'm going to do to make my life easier when I go to move things. What I'm going to do is I'm going to grab everything above that, right? I'm going to select all that. I'm going to group that together because once you break it apart, you can group it, right? I'm going to grab all these. I'm going to group this together. Now I'm going to draw, my guide for how big I want to make that box. I'm going to go back to my selection. I'm going to grab this. And I'm going to bring it down. I'm holding down control so it doesn't move left and right. I'm going to grab this. I didn't cut my seam allowance line. That's why that's like that. I'm going to hold down option, add my width, and delete this box. And now, as you can see, I can go back to my node tool and I can bring all of this up. Now to decrease it, you just do the opposite. You just bring it in instead of bringing it up. So that's how you would do it if they're separate lines. And in another video, I'll show you how to trace. That's all there is to it. Hopefully it's that easy for you.